Here we go. Hello and welcome to our digital declutter online workshop. Awesome for you to be here if you are here in person or if you're watching on the recording. And there's a little funny orange box on the top of the screen. I wonder if it will go away. It likes to follow me around sometimes, that orange box. Oh, look, it's disappearing. As I said, hello and welcome. Great to see you here. We're talking about all sorts of different forms of digital decluttering today. But also would like you, I'm going to have to stop the share. What an annoying little thing. Go away, little orange box. He's keeping us on our toes today. Let's try again. Yeah, that's better. Thank you for coming today, and great for you to make the effort. He's back again. Technology is sent to test us sometimes, but as I said, we're so glad that we can be here from wherever you are joining us from around the world, joining us live today, or as I said, if you are watching the recording on YouTube, or we do send the recording out to people that have registered but were unable to attend in person. So let us know either in the comments if you're watching on YouTube, or in the chat. Let us know where you're joining us from today, and looking forward to knowing what you would like to learn about decluttering your digital things. And I'm going to talk specifically about which digital things we're going to be talking about in a minute. But I wanted to first tell you a little bit about space and time. If you are new to our free workshops that we do fortnightly, so keep an eye out for them, particularly on Eventbrite. Space and time is all about helping people declutter and organize their space and their time. All about creating systems to improve our daily lives. Let's get all those important things lined up neatly in some sort of routine for the day. We only have 168 hours a week. Let's see and make a conscious effort to get those important things done. Otherwise, we get to the end of another week and it's like, I haven't washed the cat, or whatever those important things are that we need to do each and every day. Also keen to know, what's your intention today? What would you like to know about decluttering your digital files? Pop it in the chat and we'll have a look at that in a minute. That'll help me to be able to present to you, but it will also help you going forward as well. What is your intention when you want to declutter your digital files? Because any changes of any sort are easier if we have a clear intention, a bit of a goal for us to move forward with. And also, before we finish today, I'm going to share another couple of offers to be able to continue this journey. It's not just something fun to do today. There's a 6-week program I'd like to offer for you to join me after today. And also, as I said, we have fortnightly workshops, so keep an eye on them. And also, if you are here in Melbourne, as one of our participants, Jackie, is definitely here in Melbourne. If you need some hands-on help, I can come and work with you if you are here in Melbourne. So let us know what you're trying to achieve there. I'm just going to have a very quick look. Thank you. Yeah, Jackie says she's in Melbourne. Mary Lou, my awesome virtual assistant, is joining us from the Philippines. Thank you, Mary Lou. Can't do any of this without you. You create all the events, you post them, you share them, you put them everywhere for people to come and see far and wide. So thank you. I really appreciate all your help. As I said, couldn't do it without you. We are going to move on to talk about what exactly are we talking about today, and what should you expect from this digital decluttering workshop. Firstly, we are going to talk about our digital files being our photos, our email and computer files. So we're going to have a general overview and a think about what that means for us and what the importance of having less and decluttering, why you want to do it. But we're not going to go really into the specifics of any apps or anything like that. We're going to have a broad overview. If you wanted to look at the nitty-gritties, let's talk one-on-one after this session. or reach out to, if you have an IT guy that helps you with your bits and pieces, feel free to reach out to find some more information going forwards, but I'm certainly here to be able to help you. And as we're really having a look at the mindset today of the importance of decluttering our digital files, so that we again have that forward path because we have a clear intention on what we are trying to do. Here I am. My name is Julie Cliff. I am a declutter coach and a professional organizer. I call myself a declutter coach when I'm running events such as this online, because I'm going to teach and coach you the skills, because I know you can do it. So then you can go home and do your own digital decluttering, but also call myself a professional organizer when I'm working hands-on with people in their homes, whether it's with their digital files, with their weekly plans, or their clutter in general. Yesterday I was in a pantry, did a quick makeover, which was good fun. Today I'm doing more family planning and management and diary management today with a new client, so looking forward to that. My business just turned 8 a couple of weeks ago, which is very exciting, and I'm married and 2 sons who are at school at the moment, which is always nice for them to be out and about, so I can have the room here and the house to myself. So let's talk about, as I was alluding to, our digital files, and let's be realistic about what we want to think about and achieve today. You know, what's the big deal? Why do you want to organize them? You know, why can't they just sit in an archive, or just leave them be? You know, what is it that you're thinking that you need to delete them? What does it matter if you got 6,000, 10,000, 26,000 emails? I think I've seen up to about 30,000 unread emails in people's email inboxes. You know, what does that matter? Would really like you to be having a think about that. But we're also going to be thinking about what's an easy and manageable way to get them organized to the way that you want them organized. As I said, we're talking very broadly today for you to have a think about how you want to do it. Don't worry too much about what your neighbor does or what your friend does or what your best mate's cousin does. Now, make good on them. If they have no emails in their inbox, well, that's awesome. But maybe their circumstances are different to yours. Let's see if we can come up with the simplest and easiest way to get your project done and get you organized with your digital files in the way that you want to get them organized. And sometimes it is difficult to find anything if you've got too much in your digital files, again, with your photos, with your files, and with your emails. So we will talk about a bit later when we're talking about storing all of our photos, files, and emails. We're looking at setting up some new systems and how we can give them good names so that we can search easily for them. And then, setting up a bit of a file structure so we can easily search for them so that we're not so overwhelmed and grumpy because we can't find what we're looking for. And really thinking about, do you need to delete? And Jack actually called me just before this this broadcast, and she said, she was asking a couple of different things, and we'll talk about that, and particularly, the idea of bulk deleting, or, as I was saying just before, can we just leave them there? Can we not even worry about them, move them to a different file so they're not annoying you, and leave them there if you need them? Again, this is all about you and how you want to organize it. And, perhaps you don't need to delete them. Just leave them there unless you really do need storage space. But storage space is quite cheap, actually. I'll talk about that more with our storage section going forwards. As I said just before as well, continuing on the idea of being realistic with our digital files and having a good naming system and then being able to search by keywords is so helpful. And then we can just go, all right, well, I'm looking for something on digital filing. I can look up the word digital, and all the files or all the emails and all the photos will pop up with digital in the the filing system in your search bar, so we can make time, and we'll talk about that a bit more about setting up those new systems. Also looking at tackling the backlog when we get to the decluttering step. And we're all the way through this session talking about your why, because decluttering can be tough. If we're talking about trawling through thousands of emails, we want to keep an eye on why you want to be organized and why you think you need to delete them and get them organized. Maybe write it down on a piece of paper and keep you motivated and keep you moving forwards. So the rest of our time together, about another 50 minutes or so, we're going to be talking about the 6 steps of the space and time organizing system. If you have watched any of our programs before, our live or our recorded sessions, this is a system I use all the time because it just makes sense. It makes it simple, uncomplicated, and just gives us a nice structure to work with. So those 6 steps I'll just go through very briefly, and then we're going to go through in more detail in relation to digital files. First step is stop the stuff. We're going to stop more files, more photos, more emails from coming in. The second step is your commitment to being organized. You know, there's no magic wand. We need to be committed to getting the stuff done. So let's make that commitment, or decide not to do it. You know, again, it's completely up to you. The third step is sort the stuff. We're going to start sorting it to make the decluttering a bit easier. The fourth step is things you no longer need, and that is the deleting in this regard, or the decluttering step. But we've got a few steps to do before we get to that. And then easy storage for your stuff. So we're going to make sure it's easy to be able to retrieve the files going forwards. And then also the last step is maintenance. What are we going to do every day to keep us decluttered and organized? And also, so as I said, we are going to move along all of these 6 steps. So let's get stuck in. The first step of the space and time organizing system is stop the stuff. So as I started to ask before, what is the big deal with having digital clutter? Well, quite often it's overwhelming. There's more to organize, more to manage, overstimulating, and you can't find anything. You know, your boss might ask for something, or you need something to take to a client, or a doctor's referral, something like that, or a script that you got emailed to you. But you just can't seem to find it. So that can really be frustrating. And that frustration can sort of, boil over and makes operating at our optimal levels difficult because of the stress and the overwhelm that's caused by having too many digital things. So how can we stop more stuff from coming in? Where is it coming from? And as I say, when I'm doing any of my decluttering, it's really difficult to make any more progress either on your physical decluttering of your stuff, whether you're going through your wardrobe or filing your paperwork, or in our instance, our digital files. And a perfect example is email. It's so difficult to get organized when there's still more coming in. So we really want to stop more stuff from coming in. So we want to, I'm going to give you some more examples on exactly how to do that in a second, but let's stop the flow so that we've got some idea of, or some chance, I should say, of actually getting this job done and getting our digital files organized. And of course, being mindful of what you bring into your life and what you can let go. And as I said, this is the space and time organizing system. So it's relevant to all of and almost anything you can think of in relation to organizing and decluttering your space and your time. So as I say, let's stop more stuff from coming in. How do we do that? We can, particularly for emails, we can unsubscribe. That's the biggest point, and I'm pretty sure Jack has done a lot of that already since we did one of these sessions not that long ago. Stop more coming in. You don't need to know that Target's having a sale. You don't need to know that Harris Scarf has got this on sale, that Amazon have a sale. You don't need to know any of that stuff. You can go and have a look at their website. If you have something in mind to buy and do your comparisons, then you don't need to be reminded 2, 3, and 4 times a day. And sometimes when you get on those subscriptions for those emails, they're difficult to get off for a start, but they send them to you so many times a day. Before you know it, you've got thousands and thousands of emails in your inbox, and it just clogs up your brain. It doesn't really matter that it's sitting there, but it sort of just niggles away in the back of your brain. So go down to the bottom of the email that you have been sent and click the unsubscribe. And then even while you're at it, we're not quite up to the decluttering step yet, but when you've unsubscribed, do a search for all of those other emails from Target and delete them as well. And so that you're, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I only have about 2 or 3 email subscriptions that I am subscribed to. One of my very good friends, Christy Flora, whose email comes to me, Tim Ferriss, the author, another friend of mine, Holly Cardamone, who is an author coach. They're about the only 3 emails that come in that I'm on subscription to. So I highly recommend stopping more emails from coming in. So please unsubscribe. And then, as I say, stop that more and more from coming in so that you've got more of a chance to tackle the backlog. So looking at email management as well, educate others on who can email you and what for. Like, you can set up your own sort of boundaries and parameters in relation to your email. So whether it's in a work environment or just your personal email, you don't even have to give your email out if you don't want, but make it clear to the people around you on who can email you and what that might be for. And this might be a little bit more in relation if you're at work. You might say, if it's something that I can help you with in a 1-minute phone call, please give me a call about it. But if you need something that's a little more detailed, send me an email. So that might be some rules that you send out about your email management and letting other people know. As I said there, ask colleagues to call with any quick questions, add an automated reply and outline your rules for people, and empower those around you to make the decisions. As I mentioned, Tim Ferriss is one of my favorite authors, and in the 4-hour work week, he empowered his team members to make decisions. If it was going to cost less than $100, go ahead and do it for me on my behalf, because he had a couple of people working for him. So there's some different strategies there in email management. As I said, that might be a little bit more related to in a work environment, but it could work for your family environment as well. Say, Mum, don't email me all that spammy stuff anymore. I don't want to play Candy Crush or whatever. Don't send it to me on an email. Let those people around you know that you're on a bit of a digital detox, and pass on in a nice way to say, don't send it to me, please. And here are some more ways to stop digital clutter. We're still in the first step of stopping more stuff. And this is for photos. The funny thing to say, but how about we take less photos? It doesn't have to be a perfect photo. It doesn't have to be that perfect selfie or that perfect photo of your baby googling and garring or that nice tree or flower. Maybe take less, or how about you curate them as you're taking them at the end of the day, or as soon as you've just taken them. I took some photos of my little cactus in the last couple of days. It only flowers every couple of months, and the flowers only last a few hours. So I took a few little photos, to get it looking right. But then as soon as I'd taken them, I chose the best photo that I like, went back and deleted all the ones that weren't so good. So see if you can curate your photos as they are coming along. So try and reduce the amount of photos that are even on your phone in the first place. So that's stopping more digital clutter. If we're looking at computer files, perhaps there might be a central location where things are kept. This might be, again, if you're working, you've got a work environment, maybe somebody else might have the file. You might not even know it at all. There might be a central point where everybody knows where the rules and procedures are, for example, or the mission statement. There might be a central location that you can have that information. You personally may not need it. And then you don't have to have it on your personal folder. But you could also, do you need to download the file at all? We sometimes click and go, yeah, download, and our computer ends up choked up with our computer files. But maybe you can just view it online and not need to have a copy of it yourself. So again, we're trying to reduce the digital clutter, stop more from coming in. Let's use other people's sources and references, and Google is so amazing for that perhaps you don't need it yourself on your computer. And then some people might have an absolute cow, and I know a couple of my clients don't like this one, but reduce the number of interests you pursue at one time. Do you really need to be doing embroidery, patchwork, watercolors, and bear making at the one time? If you're a crafty person, I would say no. I would say let's try bear making for this year or this term or this semester, and let go of any digital things in relation to those interests for that time. 168 hours a week. I'm going to keep saying it because it's very important. We do need to sleep, we do need to eat, and paid work and those sorts of things. So by the time we get all those important things in the diary, there's not a lot of time for other pursuits. So if we reduce the number of personal interests we're doing at the one time, that can really help reduce the amount of stuff that's coming in. It can be physical stuff as well if we're talking about craft, but in relation to emails or subscriptions, patterns, all of the things you could be bombarded with if you had a particular craft in mind that you like to do. So really be interested in which technique works for you to stop more photos, more files, more emails coming into your computer. Share it with us in the chat. We'd love to hear your thoughts there. So as I said, we are coming up to the second step, and that is your commitment to being organized. As I said before, there is no magic wand. It might have taken a little bit of time for these files, for these photos, for these emails to build up. So it might take a little bit of time to unpick it, to unravel it, to declutter it. So we really need to make a commitment to being organized. Organized people are that way because they make a commitment to it. They are focused, they are persistent. I would like to say that I'm a fairly fit person, fairly healthy person, because I get up at the same time every day to do my exercise before the day even starts. I am committed, I'm focused, and I'm persistent with that. So it's the same with any decluttering, any new habit, and particularly important with any of our digital decluttering that we are doing. And we want to try and tackle one thing at a time. Again, we're talking about photos, files, and emails today. Maybe we choose one to do over the next few months. We want to try and organize our photos or our files or our emails. Pick a time and let's have a bit of a go at it in small increments. Excuse me, I'll just grab a little drink. So as I said, these things may have taken a little bit of time to accumulate. So it'll take a little bit of time to get sorted, but would love for you to be committed enough to put some time aside every week, maybe every day towards working, come on, words, come out of my mouth nicely. Working a little bit of time to work on that project every day. It might be 10 minutes a day, 2 hours on a Wednesday, few hours on the weekend, and really start also to deal with the new stuff that's coming in. We'll talk a little bit more about that as well, exactly what that might look like, and looking at the backlog. But that big shiny star there as well says, keep your mind on the why, or keep your why in mind. So why did you want to get organized again? Is it so you can find things quickly, less stress? You know, why are you wanting to get organized? That can be really helpful when we are moving forwards, because decluttering, you can get lost in the weeds. It can be difficult. It can be, you know, a bit of hard work. So let's try and use any tips and tricks that we can to break it down into tiny pieces, and to be able to keep moving forwards on what we are wanting to achieve. So as I said here, let's ask ourselves some questions to help you with that commitment. And they are, what are you trying to achieve by getting in control of your digital files? You know, does it really matter if there's a lot of unread emails? Can they just sit there, or can you just delete them all? What would happen, as I just said, if you deleted them all? Who would know? What would get missed? And would it matter? And what's the simplest way to process them all and get the job done? As I said, Jackie called me just before the session today, and she says she's thinking of putting them all in the trash. And then you've got 30 days, I think, with Gmail, 30 days to retrieve them before they disappear forever. And then she might just pick a few out and get them, print them off, or save them somewhere else. And then the rest will go. So that's certainly one way to do it. Some people would be having a heart attack thinking about that. But again, some of those emails could have been in there for years and they haven't been missed. Someone will come and get you and tap you on the shoulder if you've missed something important. If it's your doctor or your lawyer or accountant, they probably have the files for you. But just be mindful of some of those legal things that you might want to make sure you've got before you delete them. But the last dot point is, what is the simplest way to process them all and get the job done? Let's figure it out for yourself. As I said, would love to talk to you more about this and what will work specifically for you. Some of you are probably going, what is this lady talking about? You can't do that. But maybe it is a strategy to at least get rid of the backlog and then be looking forward at a new system. We could also move anything that's older to 12 months just into an archive folder. So you've still got them, similar to what Jack was saying, but they would be, you would still have access. It might just say archive. So you drag them all in, all your old emails or files or photos, and then you might just be able to look them up as you need them. Again, having that really good file name is great so that you can look for things, but also changing the way about how you think about your emails. Maybe the job isn't so big or so important. Sometimes, just for example, I go to people's homes and they say, oh, my house is so messy. And they're saying in their brain, my house is so messy, my house is so messy, the house is so messy. And they've made it into a really very big job, but it's nowhere near as messy and untidy and unorganized as I have seen other people's homes. So just by reframing how we're looking at our digital files might be a good way to look at this task. Be interested to know which of these questions has helped you understand why you want to organize your emails and get started on the job at hand. So any thoughts you have as we are going along, pop them in the chat, and let us know what you think. Was there any particular question that goes, oh, yeah, I hadn't thought about it that way? Continuing on with your commitment to being organized, we talked about email management as well before, about making sure other people know how you want them to use your email. You know, tell mum to stop sending you stuff, but also I would highly recommend having a separate app or even just a list of paper with your to-do items on it, rather than your inbox being your to-do list. And keep it simple. As I just use a piece of paper. There are 101 million apps for to-dos, but I really do try and keep things simple and just have a piece of paper and have those important things written on it. So just in relation to managing your email, and don't let your inbox rule your day, or you'll never get anything productive done. It might be someone's just emailed you something. Oh, I better quickly reply to them because they've just sent me an email, but they can probably wait a couple of days unless it's urgent for work. But how about you use your separate to-do list to run your day, rather than your inbox rule your day. You could very easily just sit in front of your emails all day and reply, and then somebody then replies back again. You know, there's lots of different shiny objects, I suppose, coming into our inbox all the time. So trying to use a separate to-do list and having that to keep you focused on your day, rather than your inbox ruling your day. So hopefully there was a few tips there on your commitment to being organized. As I said, it's not just something that happens. We need to deliberately put some time and effort into being organized. Same as if you want to arrive somewhere on time. You know, there are certain points with our time management that we need to be focused on. So the same thing with your digital file organizing. Here we are going up to the third step, SYS, is that right? Yes. The sort the stuff. So this is a photo here of some sorted stuff here in my kitchen, the utensils we have in my kitchen. So it's a similar sort of thing when we're talking about our digital files. If we can sort them in particular ways, whether, you know, there's again lots of different ways we can sort our files or sort our emails or sort our photos. And then when they're sorted, we have a much clearer idea of what we have, and then we can make some decisions from there if we're going to keep them or let them go. So looking at, you know, say 6,000 emails all at once can be overwhelming. We can break it down into a little bit more manageable. If you really did want to troll through all of them, we could look up a particular topic. So we want to look up WordPress, anything that WordPress has sent us. So we used WordPress, which is the my website, how my website is run, the WordPress website. We could look up WordPress. Why did I choose that example? It's difficult to say. But and then all the emails would come up, or if we're looking at our files, everything with WordPress would come up. So it might be come it down to 50 or something, and then we could just go through those emails or files and decide what we wanted to keep and what we could let go. Or if a different way that you could search when you are sorting your stuff in this step is you could look by the sender. So I want to look up all the emails that Tim Ferriss has sent me. I normally delete them. There probably wouldn't be any there left, but wanted to look up by the person that has sent me the email. Or I might want to sort my emails by any that I've created, which would be a lot, but that would be one way of sorting. Or you could look at the date and have a look at the exact date or a date range and start to sort your files or your emails in that way, and then be able to start making some decisions from there. As I said, we're not looking at every file or every photo or every email you've ever had. We're just trying to break it down, break the task down so it is more manageable. So there are lots of other ways that you can sort your emails or your files or your photos. So again, if you want some help with this going forward, certainly make some time, excuse me, to have a chat to me about it, and we can look at what the best way is for you to sort your stuff. So again, this is sorting so that we can see what we have and then make decisions as to what to keep and what to let go. So that was all about the third step, which is sort the stuff. So now we're going to get down to the fun one, the decluttering step, which is things you no longer need. So step 4. So we really want to, in this step, let go of the items you no longer need. They might be out of date, you're not using them, they serve their purpose, they were from grade 5 when you were studying at school yourself, and they're no longer required, and we can let them go. And we can also decide, of course, to keep them. We can keep everything we've ever made, if you like, but that could be quite big and overwhelming. We're not looking at being minimalist here. It's not about seeing if we can get no files at all. It's really just keeping those important things at your fingertips so that you can easily find what you want, whether it's your photos, your files, or your emails. Might let them go if you've got multiple. Maybe you've ended up with a half a dozen copies of Tim Ferriss's 3rd blog or something like that. It might be, oh, okay, well, I've already received that from him, delete. Or I've already got a lot of photos from, my son's, birthday, 3rd birthday. I've got lots of duplicates somehow. I might be able to let go of them, might be able to delete them if we have multiple of them. So there are some different ways here that we can look at our stuff to help us decide what we want to keep and what we want to let go. We were talking before about deleting our email in bulk. Again, if you don't need to delete them, just leave them there. But if you're really keen on getting in and reducing the amount of emails that you have, you could do some keyword searches, just like we were talking about, like from who sent it to you, or look for a keyword like Woolworths. And as that bottom point there, check the specifics of your app that you're using, whatever email you're using, what delete means. As we're talking about with Gmail before, I'm pretty sure it's a month that stuff goes into trash before it disappears into the never forever. But it might be different with your different apps. So sometimes delete means it's completely gone. So just be a little bit careful there. But as I say, there's different ways that you could search and then do bulk deleting in your email. But again, be careful. I'm not telling you to do this. It's all up to you, but just be a little bit mindful of any risks if you delete something that you didn't really want to delete. Here we are continuing on how we can let things go that we no longer need. And I've said it a few times here, if you have got the space, maybe you don't need to delete it. I pay for some extra storage with Google, and it costs only $24 for 100 gig. So that just means that I can store all of my Google Docs, all of my emails, photos, not all of my photos, we've got them backed up differently, but for my work, for space and time, and anything that we're using for the business, it's all there for $24 for a whole year. Again, we could go through and delete a lot, but I've done that quite a bit already, so I'm happy to pay $24 to be able to keep the files that I have. But again, take those decisions yourself, talk to somebody, check with your accountant, your legal people, anyone that you think you might need advice on doing big deletes. And also create your own boundaries as to how long you might keep files for, or how many of them you will keep. Come up with your own rules, because that will help you when you are doing your decluttering. And yeah, if you can say, oh, this document is more than 5 years old. It was a document I wrote about my business at that time. It's all old and out of date. I can let that go now. Or it's a duplicate. I've got multiple copies of it. So you might be able to have some of those rules, and that will help you make the decisions easier on letting things go. So the next step is the fifth step is the easy storage for your stuff. So easy storage for our digital files is all about being easy to retrieve, easy to file, and maybe you've even got some automatic files set up. And it's deliberately called easy, so it fits in, well, firstly, so it fits into SYSTEM, into the system. But seriously, if any storage of any type is not easy, it does not happen. I even know myself as a professional organizer and declutter coach, if I need to put something away in our rumpus room, which also has my sewing stuff in front of it, if the bean bags get piled up in front of my sewing drawers, I can very easily, if I'm in a hurry, put it on top of the drawers and not move the bean bags and put the things away easily. So if a professional like myself finds it difficult, we all need to make it extra special easy when we are storing anything. And this is digital files in particular that we are talking about. So creating a permanent home for our stuff. So in a physical sense, as far as our stuff around our home, where do the scissors live? Where do the sticky tape live? Where do your passports live? But here we're talking about permanent homes for your digital files. So again, having those important files on hand. It might be your birth certificate you might have a copy of, or doctor's referrals, anything that might be important like that. We want to know where it is, and so you can access it nice and easy. And we've been talking all the way through the time today about you making your own decision as to how organized you are with your filing and your digital storage, digital files, and you coming up with how specific that needs to be for you. You can certainly set up beautiful little files for all the important things in your life, or you might have one big file, but then making sure that you name all of your files or your emails with really good key terms so that you can search. So you might have the date in your file name, the person that wrote it, it might be the topic, so that if you wanted to look it up and find that document at any time, you've got quite a few different search terms to look for. Using the search bar, as it says there, the search bar is your friend, whether it's in your email or just File Explorer or in your Google Drive, OneDrive, wherever you keep your stuff. If you've got a really good name for your document, so when you're creating it, say I'm going to create a new file all about decluttering your wardrobe, we'll probably call it, put the date on it, wardrobe decluttering, and it might be specific to people living with multiple sclerosis. So we would have those really, it would be quite a long file name in the end, but at least it gives you a few really good keywords to be able to search by. So then you could also make sure you know your programs really well. Will it search in trash when you are looking in that search bar in your email? But also thinking about keywords such as email addresses and names as well. So this is talking about easy storage, but also, as I'm suggesting, easy retrieval, so that when you file it in a particular folder, you can still easily find it by using these search terms. So this is really looking at going forward and using your future files. You can certainly go back and rename some of your files to help you looking for them if they're still relevant for you. But this is really looking at these things we need to do every day to stay organized. Also thinking about the different ways that you can store your digital files. Are they just on your computer here on your desk, or are they in the cloud somewhere? Or do you have an external hard drive? Is there a backup system? Maybe even an automated backup system. You know, ask any friends you have or IT experts. Luckily, my husband is pretty good with IT, so he has all that backup stuff sorted for us. But make sure you get some expert help. You don't want to lose all your photos, all your files or emails, because that could lead to all sorts of heartache and a bit of few tears, I think. So really get some good advice there about how you store your files. As I said, are they going to be on the computer, on the cloud somewhere? What sort of access that people have? How often is it backed up? Really important, so that we have other copies of our digital files. And as we were talking about naming the different files with nice descriptive file names, knock yourself out and set up as many folders as you like, again with those nice names on them, and then be able to file either your photos, files, or your emails under the folders. I don't use a lot of folders. I'm particularly thinking for any of my digital files. On my Google Drive, I've got a few key ones for my business folders, which might be, say, marketing, sales, admin. I think there's only about 5 or 6. There's a few different ones I can't think off the top of my head. But then things just go into those main headings. And then I use the search bar in the Google Drive whenever I'm looking for something. I don't think I ever go directly to a file to look for something. I never go into a folder. I just use the Google search bar in Google Drive to look for those files. And as I say, label your folders just as you would when you're searching for them. Come up with those key phrases that you would go looking. If you go looking for, bloody insurance, we'll call it bloody insurance. Come up with whatever those words are that are going to work for you. And then also start to save your files and emails every day. Again, this is easy storage for you, a way that works for you. We can have more of a chat about setting up that exact folder structure. Make a time with me to do that, and we can set it up for you, but the easier the better, so that it just happens. So we are at maintenance tools. We are tracking very nicely for time, lots of information. Again, this it is recorded, so you can watch it as many times as you'd like if you've missed something today. But we are up to the last step now, step 6 of the space and time organizing system, which is maintenance tools. So we want to make time each and every day for managing our files in some way. We might be just dragging an email into a folder once we've actioned it. We might be saving a folder or renaming a folder, saving a file to a folder in our files, or with our photos, we might upload it to Google or wherever we're going to back up our phone photos. We might do that as soon as we've taken the photo, or sitting down in front of the telly each night. If we're doing these little bits of maintenance each and every day, much easier than doing it in a big chunk or days and days or weeks and weeks at a time. But also know yourself. What's the time of the day that suits your energy levels? So are you a morning person like me, that you get up and do a few of these things, delete a few emails, file a few things first thing in the morning, or is afternoon a better time for you? Hopefully you're not decluttering and organizing your files at 3 o'clock in the morning. I would rather you be sleeping, but don't push yourself too much. Know when your energy levels are high, so you can tackle these jobs. And also be accountable. Share your decluttering and maintenance journey with a friend and say, okay, I'm going to delete 200 emails this week, and I'm going to report into you again next Thursday. and keep up that accountability. I'd be happy to be that accountability buddy for you. And we can set up some more formal sessions as well, like a weekly paid session that we sit down for an hour and we get it done. I'll be telling you a bit more about that in a second. But if you even get your friends, your mum, your sister, your brother, a good friend that can help you on your decluttering journey, because if you've got somebody else that knows, oh, okay, well, they said they're going to do this by Thursday, they'll be looking out for it. And that, if you've got a goal like that and a real deadline, you're actually more likely to do it than just keeping it to yourself. So really reach out and get some of your friends to help you out there. And I love a weekly planner. Need something done, write it in the diary. If it's a paper diary or a digital diary, I need to do a few things, review some things that Mary Lou has written for me. So I've put them in the diary on Saturday morning at 11 o'clock and written a little note in my Google Calendar, review the bio that she's written for the website for me on Saturday at 11. So there's a few of those bits and pieces in to be able to get those jobs done, because if it's not written anywhere, I won't get, I just run out of brain space to be able to do it. And Mary Lou has just popped the weekly planner link, a different one to that's pictured here, but one that I love to use with my clients. So follow that link and create your own weekly planner. When are you going to get this decluttering done? As we said, is it Wednesday at 2 o'clock, Saturday for a few hours, and set up a time to action it. And we can delete, automate, or delegate. You might delete the folder or file. You might automate it so that something happens to it without you even needing to do anything to it, or you might delegate it. Maybe the file or the email isn't relevant to you. You can delegate it to somebody else. Get the kids to do it, perhaps. As I said earlier in the session, don't let your email dictate your day. That's other people's agendas. Use your to-do list and the weekly planner to be able to help you get your important tasks done. Don't let your email run your day. Put a timer on, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, put your head down and get it done. If we're going through deleting emails or short, sharp bursts are awesome. Have a little break, come back to it. Put the timer on again. And also, if you're going through emails, maintenance of any sort, nice, succinct, polite, short replies. You don't need to write big, long novels. Get your point across, but try and make replying and managing your email as easy as possible. And I've put there as a part of your maintenance, sometimes you might come across an article online or on Facebook and someone wants to give you a freebie. It might be a downloadable checklist or something like that, but you have to put your email address in. Or you could either not do it and not get the download or the freebie. But what you can also do is that as soon as they have sent you that freebie, I've got lots of different special checklists that people have sent us over the time. But as soon as they send us that freebie, I'll go in and I'll unsubscribe to their newsletter as soon as they've sent it to me. If you've got the thing that you want, you don't need to worry about anything else they're going to follow you up with. So you could unsubscribe as soon as they put you on that email list. So these are different things that we can do every day to keep our digital files organized. So that was scheduling time, use that weekly planner that Mary Lou shared with us, having a good to-do list, use the timer, and don't get too bogged down in your emails. And also, one of my favorite tools and tips for people is to turn off notifications. You don't need to know when a new email comes in. You don't need to know when somebody likes your post on Facebook. Again, there are exceptions to that. If it's a part of your work, you might need to have those things turned on, but probably not. But turn them off. They are so distracting. As I said, don't need to know that somebody likes the cat video that you shared. Turn off the notifications so we can be a little bit more focused on our tasks that we're trying to do, and leave a bit more time for being organized and sorting out our digital clutter. Have a go at just checking your email a couple of times a day. When I was at Melbourne Storm Rugby League Club, our Chief Financial Officer, Danielle, would only check her emails a couple of times a day. She had other things to do. She had emails to do. She had important work of her own to do. She didn't have time to be sitting and replying to everybody's email requests. So this is all about educating others on how you want your email used. So she would say to us, you know, just call me, or just pop in and see me if you've got something urgent, or it's just going to take a few minutes, or make it an appointment to come and see me, rather than just sending emails and CCing everybody on emails. See if you can really block out the time for your email management, or the whole day will, you know, be taken up by it. And also moving on to, let's do a quick recap. So today we have done an audit and a check-in for how we think about managing our files. Maybe they're perfectly fine just the way they are, or do we really need to get a move on and get it tidied up? You're the only one that can make that decision. We really want to make those conscious choices about what to keep and what to let go, what is going to serve you now, not what you did for your year 12 textiles project in 1990. What did I do? 1991. You know, maybe that's not relevant anymore. Let's make conscious decisions and keep the things that are important to you now and adding to your life now. We also went through and we sorted into like items by using those search terms. We deleted unnecessary items, set up the storage, and we looked at lots of different tips for keeping it up and making organized. So let's get organized to the right degree, just how you want to get organized in the easiest way possible. So as I promised, let's just not make today a fun thing that we've done for an hour this morning on a Thursday. Let's continue the decluttering journey after today. There's a one-on-one session for 6 weeks. Let's do an hour on Zoom every week for 6 weeks. And let's get your digital file sorted out into the way that you want to do it. So there's all the things you get. The hour with me, a check-in for 15 minutes in between those sessions. There's a workbook, 30-day checklist, and a private Facebook group, and there's a special offer for $897 today for that 6-week program. And Mary Lou has shared the link for that in the chat. So grab that so that you can get the link. And also, as I said, we do these sessions fortnightly. The next one we're going to do is clear your space, double your time, and take control of your life. So we're going to look at decluttering and organizing your space and your time. This one is absolutely jam-packed. I'm going to have to make sure I have a good night's sleep before this one, because it's a really big one. It'll be an hour, absolutely full of information, just like this one has been today. And then the fortnight after that, the 30th of March, these are all Melbourne time, Australian Eastern Daylight Time, and that one will be wardrobe. So that's a fun one. I quite like wardrobe. It's creative and fun, and should be an enjoyable one. So I look forward to seeing anyone that's interested in doing that as well. Keep an eye out. Special offer to you if you've watched this call. Let's have a chat and figure out what's your plan for decluttering going forwards. So we're right on time, absolutely lots of information shared, all the links there. Thank you, Mary Lou, for sharing all of them in the chat if you would like them to be able to book some time with me. Lots of, as I said, lots of decluttering your digital files information. Please let me know if you need further help, but look forward to seeing you. We will share the recording later today if you want to read back over, my screen, or also hear what I was saying, because there has been a lot that we have been through today. Really glad you could join with us. We'll finish up there and look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks for the next session. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Julie. Thanks, Jack.